Oh, here we go. Our first rebuild of FC25. Fulham. Not much to shout about at Craven Cottage over the years. A couple of relegations into the Championship, a couple of promotions back into the Prem. But their most famous period has to be the Europa League run in the 2009-10 season. The infamous 4-1 comeback over Juventus in the round of 16 at Craven Cottage, but ultimately ending in heartbreak in the final as Atletico Madrid's Diego Forlan scored in extra time for the Rojiblancos to lift the Europa League at the expense of the Cottagers. That, my friends, is now a distant memory. Now from one Marco to another, I hope there's no hard feelings, but Marco Silva, your time is up, son. Fulham belong in European finals, not dwindling in 10th spot. So it's out with the old and in with the older, as the board have tasked the long-haired Silver Fox with just one objective: sticking the Champions League in the cabinet at Craven Cottage. Bearing in mind there's no live start points or even custom start points in the game, I think this is pretty bang on. But obviously we want to be finishing somewhere in a European spot at the end of the season. Here are the boys. We'll have a quick peek around the cottage before we get stuck in. Can't imagine most of you will be here when we're lifting Champo. You might have a chance though, lad. Andreas Pereira, a free kick maestro, he's always welcome. But not as an attacking midfielder, you're more of a box-to-box midfielder nowadays. Let's leave the dynamic creativity to this man. Emil Smith-Rowe, Fulham's most expensive signing at 34 million, bags full of talent and potential. So we're going to build the team around him. Robinson, Bassi and vice-captain Leno, you're safe. I see the quality, I see the potential. But the rest of the squad needs gutting, other than you, Rodrigo Muniz. We're going to be putting our faith in the 6'1" Brazilian number 9. Rocking the acrobatic plus play style because he's full of spectacular goals. Just like this Bassi against Brentford last season. You're going to be prolific in this team, Sonny Jim. There's 5, 6, maybe 7 quality players in this team, so we're going to try and get the best out of them until January. Then we can start investing with the 15 million we've got in the bank. We're going to play a couple of games, hopefully climb the table, stop off around the halfway point, make a few signings, then play some more games and stop off at the end of the season and see how we did. And we're going to keep doing that until we've won the Champions League. But before we're a part of those illustrious European nights, well, we need to pick up some points against the Toffees. Somehow they're above us in 8th spot, but this is the perfect game for us to flex our muscles, or at least cop a feel for the boys in white. And our £34 million man misses a sitter. Then it's Andreas Pereira with the high press. On to Muniz, the two least Brazilians bursting on the counter. AP with the jogger Benito, through ball and a lamb, shank past the post. I literally just said you were going to be prolific, Sonny Jim. 0-0 versus Everton. So up next it's Spurs away. You sit in 14th spot. Getting a London derby in the mix early on. And Castagna showing why he needs to be shown the door. Getting our second game in charge after an absolute car crashing start. And they absolutely make sure to stick it away from the corner. I'll turn from the corner and Bassi sticks it away off Icario. I don't think that'll be put down as Big Shirley's goal, but at least we scored, eh? A consolation goal in the grand scheme of things, as Big Andrew's side shows their quality as they win our first London derby 3-1. Not off to a great start, are we? But we're playing at home for the first time at the Cottage in the final game before the halfway point. And maybe a scrap against 12th place Brighton will give us a chance to score a few goals. Oh, Harry Wilson, you little dancer! Our first proper goal in this rebuild is a corker. It's just a shame Brighton decided to fight back. Emil with the dink over the top to AP. The Brazilian, he gets it under his spell and he finishes the ball nicely into the side netting. 2-1 and celebrating with the crowd. Our first win of the rebuild is on the cards. Well, with 5 minutes left on the clock, Brighton decided to pipe up and rain in our parade. 2-2's the remix, lads, and this might be tougher than expected. This is absolutely the definition of trust the process, because we don't have any excuse dropping to 12th after 11 games in charge. ESR banging them in with 14 and 8. Andreas Pereira on 10 and 4. And somehow Muniz has got 5 goals, but I think I know what the problem is. We're missing a yank. I'm hoping this is a one and done. Our very own, you don't know where I'm from, dog. Malik Tillman from PSV for basically 28 million. Let's see if you can beat Clint Dempsey's 50 Premier League goals, dog. And with Tete out for 7 months, that's all I needed to have a little chat with honest luck. La, 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 la. A transfer I reckon could happen in real life if Trent doesn't bugger off to Real Madrid. Connor Bradley to Fulham for 17.5 million. He's definitely going to do a job for the Cottagers. Right, that's it. The January transfer window is done, and now we can start working on gegenpressing the league into submission. There might be a few new faces in the dressing room, but our objective remains the same, finishing in a Champions League spot, and we desperately need to pick up some points against 15th place Ipswich. And it's an easier task now they're down to 10 men, the dirty gits. It might not be Tillman, the yank with the through ball, but Muniz on the shoulder, cutting past defenders and slotting it home is a sight for sore eyes. ESR with the flick and Tillman turns his man with ease, but Emil doesn't admire his work. He's on the return pass and then he slots it in the back of the net. I mean, yes, Leno does get lobbed by Hurst, but I'm not bothered because Robinson, our other yank, plays through our Brazilian number 9 and you best believe he knows where the back of the net is now. With a brace to his name, 3-1 the final score, and it's a step in the right direction as we travel to St James's Park to play 8th place Newcastle. When Muniz turns provider for Smith Rowe's opener, tidy footwork from Tillman sets up Pereira for our second, and Iwobi slips in the yank as Tillman turns goal scorer. And we're 3-0 up against Newquay. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're still a bit leaky in defence, and Isaac grabs a consolation goal and gives Eddie Howe a consolation hug for missing out on the England job. But there's no chance we're losing this. The ball doesn't even touch the ground for our 4th and final goal in this 5-goal thriller, and looking to carry their momentum into an away day at the Gunners, who are in 5th spot. And something tells me Emil Smith Rowe is not welcome back at the carpet. But the joke's on them as Bradley floats a ball in behind the defence, and oh, Muniz, that's just a bit disgusting, mate. BTEC Arsenal win 1-0. And what's on the horizon, Traore? 14th place Bournemouth at the Vitality. The penultimate game of these highlights starts with a solid free kick from AP, but Kepa parries it out for a corner. From the set piece, he floats one in and the Yankees here to stick away the rebound. Now, I'll rate Joachim Andersen, but he's just so slow, bless him. There's no catching Evan Nielsen who levels the score. ESR dinks one over to Pereira and the poor lad gets nutted into next Tuesday. He might be concussed, but he still knows where the back of the net is. And we could have ended things with a cherry on top with a Muniz bicey, but it's not to be. 2-1 the final score, and it's 3 out of 3 wins for the Cottagers going into the final game at home against second place Man City. I'm pretty sure they needed a win for the title too, but we're running on such a high at the moment. I thought this would be a decent litmus test against whether we're in good form or we're just good. Pereira goes full Spinderella on Kovacic and thumps it past Edison to secure a 2-0 win over Man City. Lads, this could be the start of something special at Craven Cottage. Now let's go check if we finished in the European spot at the end of the season. Oh, lads, you're not going to believe it. We have absolutely nothing to show for ourselves. We finished in 11th. Yes, we had a cracking second half of the season, but so did everybody else. And yes, City did miss out on the title after we beat them 2-0. Haaland finished top bagsman, and we've got Smith Rowe on 18 in the league. 22 and 11 in all comps for our star boy. Pereira with a healthy 16 and 6, but Muniz picking things up with 15 and 3. Come on, Tillman. You're never going to beat Clint Dempsey with numbers like these. Right, we'll put that down to bad luck, lads. The potential is definitely here, and with a couple of big signings next season, we should have the quality to finish in a European spot. Just Smith Rowe in the team of the season last year. The poor boy is carrying mid-table fodder. But with 52 million to play with, we can certainly improve the squad. So tempted to bring back some ex-players like Smalling and Zambo. But this ain't a road to glory, this is a rebuild. So having a chat with Almiron, who's still knocking about at Sporting, but do let me know in the comments if you want to see a Man United rebuild. It could be fun. Anyway, we want this boy, Dario Eusego. A bargain, 9 million quid for our new no-nonsense DM, tasked with reaping souls and breaking legs. A little 5'10" brick house. This is a signing I'm excited about. Muniz and Andreas Pereira are missing their third amigo since Willian left. And our new number 7, he fits the criteria perfectly. Fresh out of retirement from Al Hilal, for 25 million he is the perfect Willian replacement, even down to being known by a misspelt first name. On the topic of Brazilians, we are showing our faith in Muniz with a new long-term contract, and we're pillaging the newly relegated fodder for some defensive talent. This team is seriously lacking good young players with potential. So Taylor Hardwood-Bellis joins for 10 million plus Issa Diop, and we're getting rid of the deadwood. I told you, not everyone's going to make it. Jimenez, Sanderson, Lukic and Tete have moved on, leaving us 22 million to play with in January. I don't know if he'll start, but in a few years he'll definitely be challenging. The squad definitely looks way more well-rounded. Maybe not Champions League ready, but I reckon a 5th place finish could be on the cards. So let's go and make that happen. Starting how we finished last season, looking to do one over City, but this time on their home turf. If you want to be playing in Europe, we're going to have to be getting some points against the big boys, and Malik Tillman makes sure of that. He showed glimpses of what he's capable of in the second half of last season, and with the full season ahead of him, I'm interested to see what he brings to the table. Our third Brobigo just can't get enough whipping it to put it past Edison, which ultimately leads to Kabor bombing it down the flank and serving on a plate for Haaland's melon. As Still thinking London should have saved it, but hey ho, point is a point I guess. 18th place Crystal Palace came to visit us at Craven Cottage, the dullest game on record. Literally nothing happened until the 91st minute when Harry Wilson decided to take matters into his own hands with a cracking finish across goal. He might not start every game, but he'll always be there when we need him most. Looking for another 3 points at the London Stadium against 15th place West Ham. Back-to-back London derbies coming at you quicker than we conceded the first goal. But we weren't behind for long, as Big Shirley gets his head on it from the corner. They can't take that one away from you, big boy. Bradley with the through ball to Malcolm. He's got the quick feet to get round his man. Kilman blocks the shot, but his touch sets the defender on his arse. Then Paqueta dampens the mood and equalises. 2-2's the remix. Smith Rowe stepping up with a cracking heel to heel, but the keeper's equal to it. Calm down, lad. There's still 15 minutes to go in this game. ESR involved again. Stotson Robertson on the overlap, and the Yank pings it across to his fellow countryman for 3-2. But we're not done there, and with time seemingly standing still, he does well to pick his spot. 4-2 the final score. Our new superstar fits like a glove. Now let's go check where we are at the halfway point. I'm just going to tell you how it is. It's not looking good. It's looking great. 4th place at the halfway point. We're definitely on track for European football next season at this rate. Smith Rowe and Malcolm smashing it so far. And Muniz is doing decent, but not where I want him to be at this point. We need some competition up top. Current Bundesliga top goal scorer Omar Mamouche swaps Frankfurt for Fulham for 23.5 million plus Vinicius. He's got plenty of pace, so a different option to Muniz. And I've been wanting to try this bloke for ages. I'm still backing you, Rodrigo. Don't you worry. I didn't give you that long-term contract for nothing. Although I must admit, with all the new boys in the starting 11, we do look like a proper team. Anyway, back into the mix. We've got a derby against Brentford to win on our way to securing European football this season. Tillman is up for the scrap, finishing off some great skill with the ball in the back of the net. We're seeing more and more glimpses of a proper player on our hands. And as much as I rate Muniz, well, after he missed this sitter, Mamouche should definitely start our next game, mate. We could have really done with that going in as Shade levels the score. Tillman with the high press. It's a 3v4, and with options either side, Muniz dinks it over to Smith Rowe. He takes it under his spell nicely. And you know where the ball is going to end up. Our 2 crown jewels on the score sheet as we beat our West London rivals 2-1. Now we're back at Craven Cottage against second spot Chelsea. Games like these we have to win if we want to keep up with the pack. Mamouche spanking the post, almost marking his debut with a goal against the Blues. And some absolute wizardry by Malcolm, and if he could bend it round Petrovic, it would have been goal of the rebuild. I feel like he's not quite hit 5th gear yet. There's still more to come from the Brazilian, but it's Yasego who finds the back of the net with the one and only goal of the game, and we've got 3 more points on the board. Going into the penultimate game of these highlights with another trip away to 6th place Spurs. Smith Rowe, you should have found the back of the net there. I didn't say that, it was Malcolm whispering in his ear. So Emil one-ups him from last game. A special goal from a special player. He's got the bench up on their feet with a standing ovation, and I've got to watch it again. I must try this 3 or 4 times a game, but I didn't think it would look this beautiful in motion. Another 1-0 win over Spurs, and we travel to the leaky roof of Old Trafford in the final game of these highlights, but the second to last game of the season. They were in 9th place when we played them, but that doesn't mean they were any less threatening as they cut through our defence like a hot knife through butter. Xerxes puts it around Leno in no man's land, but it's our own man who sticks it in the back of the net. Keep your head up, Connor Bradley. You did the right thing sticking a foot in, and he did just that. Bradley pressing more than your girlfriend after a night out down the boozer. He puts it on a plate for Mamouche. The Egyptian finally has his first goal for Fulham, and after a disgustingly silky passage of play, Malcolm slots him through one-on-one, and now he's got a brace to his name against the Red Devils. Nice of you to finally show up, bruv. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I still don't understand how this challenge is a penalty. I reckon this ref just wants his 15 minutes of fame. And the most annoyingly whiny thing on earth, hopscotches it past Leno. And now it's 2-2's the remix. We could really do with 3 points on the board. Oh, Tillman, stop that! Oh no, watch out, Lino. He's going to pull out the 9. The goal of the rebuild so far, marked off by head, shoulders, knees. No toes though. And the last thing we need now is to miss out on a point gained away from home. And there it is. Jokes? Lino, we will slip you that fiver later. 2-2 the final score. Now let's go check where we are on the final day. Other than the last game, we've had a cracking second half of the season. But believe it or not, it wasn't enough as we dropped 1 place into 5th. We're in need of a draw to secure Europa League or a win to secure Champions League for next season. Relegation fodder Leeds United are our final hurdle. We've gone for a few changes to our usual starting lineup with Wilson, Sessegnon and Suensa. I think that's right. Now come on boys, Let's get it. I probably should have started the stronger lineup, but I've got faith in the lads. And that faith almost came back to bite me in the arse inside and out if it wasn't for Leno. Smith Rowe at the centre of things once again. Most things seem to come through him and Tillman, to be fair. We swap Omar and Muniz round in the 65th minute, and that decision would have paid off if the Brazilian could have finished his dinner. Either side of the goalkeeper would have been just fine, mi hermano. So it's down to our two golden boys to see things through. And we haven't seen a better English and Yank double act since Epstein and Maxwell. Fulham 1, Leeds 0. And lads, we should have secured Champo for season 3. Yes, there we go. A 4th place finish in the books, and it's bloody deserved in my opinion. Diaz is the Premier League top bagsman, and where are we? Oh, you're joking. We didn't even have the best score in Yank. Don't you two start shooting each other up now. Of course, Tillman is our top G with 16 and 9. He's come into his own this season. ESR not far behind with 13 and 10. Malcolm bringing up the rear with a quietly impressive season with 12 and 6. Andreas Pereira doing bits. Luckily for Muniz and Omar, the goals are being shared about. I want more from you both next season. Bassi and Tillman make the team of the season now. No more mucking about. Let's roll on Champions League nights in season 3. We finally made it. The champions! And in no particular order, our pot of games home and away that await us. And we're starting off all the way down below, but we won't be here for long. The boys, they were good enough to qualify for Champo, but do we have enough talent to go the distance? Truthfully, probably not quite there yet, but with 106 million to play with, we can certainly change that. With a big budget comes big signings, so they don't get much bigger than our new brick house. Kefren Turam from Juve for 36 million. Fulham's new most expensive signing, looking perfectly well rounded and ready to boss in the midfield. Just in behind him, ready to lock things down defensively after making the switch from south to west. Mark Gahey from Palace for 37.5 million, breaking the record for the second time this transfer window, because we mean business. And we need some cover on the wings for Smith Rowe and Malcolm. Raheem Sterling for 15 million. He did nish for Chelsea. Will probably do nout for Arsenal. So I reckon he'll smash it off the bench for us. And if we don't win Champo this time around, I'm coming for one of these midfield maestros next season. Right, instantly this gives me good vibes. I reckon we'll be going far in Champo. I'm just not sure whether it'll be Pereira or Yasego making way for Turam yet. I'm sure I'll figure it out. But without any further ado, lads, let's jump straight into Champo. Really and truly, this rebuild is starting right now against Lille. A lot of blood, sweat and tears from the boys, and there would have been more tears if Leno wasn't in goal. To be honest, I don't think we'd even be in Champo in our 3rd season if Leno wasn't in there. The Egyptian sticking it away on the rebound up the other end of the pitch. It's not like he's Mo Salah 2.0, but we'll take it. And it's a moment of magic from our star boy to double our lead. I told you at the beginning, bags of talent and potential in this boy. We're building the team around him. And then there's Sterling, right place, right time to put us 3-0 up in Lille. This Champions League stuff, this is easy. So let's turn up the heat against our European rivals. A repeat of the 2010 Europa League final, reborn in the Champions League. And it's fair to say both of us are up for the scrap. But there's no Uruguayan here to steal the limelight. Instead it's all eyes on Tillman and the yank after carrying the ball from the halfway line. Some step over wizardry, he puts us 1-0 up in the Metropolitano. We've got our sweet revenge against them, and it's only 16 years later. And to round up our away day trilogy, it's a trip to Prague. £2.33 a pint, by the way, lads. Probably double the price of a Ryanair ticket. Trust me, you'll be buying plenty of it when you're watching the cottagers. Not because you're knocking them back to get through the dull 90 minutes, but because you'll be throwing it over the lads next to you because there's limbs in the away end. And who said you can't go full Route 1 in the Champions League? Anderson says, can you get on the end of that? And Muniz replies, si mi hermano, and I'll give you the best assist of the rebuild. I did say you'd be prolific in this team, Sonny Jim, but this goal is all about the ball from Anderson. It is stupendous. Absurd. Out of this world. We were so very much dominating the game against Slavia Prague. So you just know we had to go and spice things up. First time around, I thought it was a harsh call, but yeah, second thought, we're lucky it's just a yellow card. Safaris, he sends Leno the wrong way for 2-1, but it's no bother. I'm more annoyed about Muniz not sticking this Bicey away. He could have had 4 unbelievable goals to his name this game. Man's got a 50% conversion rate in front of net. Sterling can put it on a plate for Smith Rowe, and we are unwavering in our pursuit for goals this game. And yeah, that's right, Adama Traore is still knocking about. Pereira, second bite of the cherry is just fine, but we win comfortably 4-1 in Prague. Let's go check where we are at the halfway point. I swear the hardest part is getting into the Champions League, because these Tuesday and Wednesday nights have been a doddle. We have climbed 32 places to finish in 3rd spot after 8 games, which means we go straight into the round of 16. We've dropped off a little in the league, but I'm not too bothered about it. I'm sure the boys will sort it out on their own. Smith Rowe, 13 and 11 so far. He is constantly putting up great numbers for the Cottagers. I don't know where we'd be without him. 17 million quid in the kitty is not enough to make any real signings, and I'm happy with the squad for now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it on our way to securing Champions League greatness. Speaking of, Leipzig in the round of 16, you're up next. Our first game in the knockouts. The road to the final starts here at the Inferno in Leipzig, and we quickly came to the understanding that the quality level has risen just a wee bit. Going 1-0 down will do that to you. Limbs flying left, right and centre, this clearly means a lot to them. Maybe they're surprised to have scored first, maybe they don't think they had a child's dance of beating us, and when Malcolm is in the mood for it, not a lot of teams do stand a chance. Mamouche gets the credit, but Malcolm gets all the plaudits because it's the Brazilian on the front foot again with flip-flaps and Berber spins dished up on a plate. But the Egyptian, he can't finish his dinner, which means the Germans travel to Fulham for the return fixture, and it's all to play for at the Cottage. Smith Rowe with his own tifo loud and proud, and that's exactly why. Yeah, I know it got me too. Put your bloody flag down, Lino. He is completely unfazed though. After a naughty heel-to-heel and a weak foot smash across the goal, this game now feels like it's ours to lose. Thuram finds Muniz with an over-the-top weighted to perfection through ball, and the strike is every bit as beautiful. Our Brazilian number 9, he's put us through to the quarter-finals. And speaking of, we're away at the Bridge. I must confess I messed up with the simulation. I accidentally simmed the first leg and we won 2-1. But it means that this game, well, it's pretty easy, right? Basically don't lose and we're in the semis. At the first time of asking, but we were dreadful. We forgot to bring our scissors because we had no cutting edge this game. If we got around one player, there was another to take his place. There was absolutely no way through all game, and in the second half of extra time, a burst of pace from En-Nesyri and a well-timed strike. Oh, it knocked us out of Champo as Chelsea win 3-2. So unbelievably close, yet so unbelievably far. I can't believe I simmed the first leg. What an idiot! We can cry about that later, because right now we need to focus. 6 games left of the season and we need to finish in 4th. And it just so happens we have games against Villa in 4th and United in 3rd to steal points from. 3rd place Villa, they're up first, and we're going for an attacking lineup with Tillman dropping the centre mid and Muniz up top. Good evening. Do you mind if we take our frustrations out on you? No? Well, we're going to do it anyway. We haven't had time to process getting knocked out of Champo. All of this anger and pent-up aggression needs to be redirected towards securing a 4th place finish this season, and Sterling is coming on smoke. Muniz, this is disgusting, and the finish is disgusting too. You're just a bunch of wrong-uns, a bunch of no good, good-for-nothing deviants hell-bent on righting their wrongs of Champions League failure with the humiliation of Aston Villa at Craven Cottage. So take a seat, Emi Martinez, and enjoy the view, because you've just been tucked away into a distant memory after our yank has tipped off a 10 out of 10 performance with this naughty back heel. A pure Giesberger move from Tillman means we travel to Man United, level on points with Villa and 3 points off the Devils. Not much to shout about other than Camavinga and their squad, and we're basically rocking the same lineup as last game, but Bassi in for Joachim Andersen. Malcolm from 25 yards out, and you know what, one of these days I'm going to score a proper free kick and completely lose my head. But when one Brazilian fails, another succeeds. Muniz on the prowl again with a lovely finesse shot, and if Sterling could have put this over a kick away, my God, it would have been beautiful. Big Shirley, he knows what he's doing from the corner by now, and we're 2-0 up, looking like a sure thing to snatch 3 points off 3rd place. But we're absolutely not done there, with Muniz making a mess in aisle 6, but he's there to clean it up as well. Yes, United do dampen our mood, making it 3-1, but that doesn't matter. We picked up points against the Red Devils, snatching 6 points from Villa and United. It feels like 12. And after a 1-0 loss to Spurs, a 3-1 win over the Foxes, and winning 2-1 against West Ham, we find ourselves finally in the driving seat. But we still absolutely need 3 points, because if Villa beat Wolves, we could drop to 5th. So of course we've got City. And their team, well, it's looking a little top heavy. And we've beaten before, lads. So let's just go out there and do it again. These lads have just missed out on the title to Arsenal, so, you know, they might be looking to flex their muscles, but we're here to make a statement. And we're showing our intent early on with a move that should have ended in a goal, only to be, now pardon the pun here, caught out of the blue by Haaland. Don't hurt yourself belly sliding into the advertisement. Oh, you know what? Actually, I don't care. The second half rolls around and we're piling the pressure on either side of Edison. Would have been fine, Malcolm. They swing one in from the corner. Haaland's header is deflected by Robinson for Leonard to clean up. And then we go full route one on the counter-attack from A to B in a matter of seconds. Smith Rowe sees the space, drives into it and emphatically fires on goal, sticking one home. I just don't know if it's enough though. The game finishes 1-1 and we scrape a point away from home. You can cut the tension with a knife. Europa League or Champo? What's it going to be? Well, Villa got beat by Wolves, so Champo it is then. Haaland finished top bagsman with 26 and we're way down in 15th with 13 in the league. Smith Rowe is our top G with 20 and 19. It's outstanding once again from you, bro. And whilst it's a good thing we're sharing the goals out, and as much as I love Pereira, Muniz and Marmoush, we definitely need a midfield maestro and a killer number 9 next season. Oh yeah, Smith Rowe and Bradley made the team of the season. Well in, lads. 128 million smackaroons. Let's get to business. And where the hell is the red carpet, lads? Come on. Our new midfield maestro, well, he's entered the building with a cheeky little smile. Orkan Kokcu for 50 million on the button. We've got our long-term target finally at Craven Cottage, and I predict a naughty little partnership with Kefren Turam. We've got our midfield maestro on the books now. Here's our killer number 9, and I am gassed to finally be using him. Fulham's new club record signing, Matthias Tell for 60 million plus Omar Mamouche. Just look at the state of him. 91 pace, 87 shooting, and still only 22 years old. It is scary. Muniz, if you manage to wiggle your way into the starting 11, I'm going to be well impressed. We've done a little bit of spring cleaning as well. Adama Traore and Sander Berg, thank you for your service, but we needed the cash to get this man through the door. Nestoroy Irankunda, 22.5 million. He's young, he's got loads of pace, so he's going to be a great addition off the bench. Some more outgoings. This youth academy bloke that was never going to make it. Iwobi, Wilson and Suensa have all parted ways with Fulham as well, leaving us 39 million to play with in January if we need it. Now this team, I'm excited. I am excited. I dare you to find me a weak spot because I can't see one anywhere. In no particular order, our pot of games forthcoming, and here we are, bottom of the pile yet again. But we know what happened last time. So come on, lads. Let's try and win the Champions League in Season 4. Oh, well, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? We've just poached one of your best players. No, I'm sure they're happy. They did bank 50 million quid after all. Wait, you know what? I take that back. They absolutely hate your guts. But this isn't our first rodeo in the Champions League. No. We're not seasoned vets, but we know how to make the Donna. Isn't that right, Matthias Tell? See, Kokcu knows. Something tells me both of those studs are going to fit in right as rain here. I'm surprised there's not pig heads flying around as Kokcu takes the corner. But he floats one in and it's Kefren Turam getting his big fat five on it. We are strutting our stuff in the Champions League yet again as we welcome Valencia to the cottage, and I think one of the ball boys got mixed up in the team. He looks a bit lost, bless him. But I think this game ultimately proved like you need to absolutely pick a tactic and stick with it in FC25. I've stuck with pressing since the first season and now it looks like it's paying dividends. Stop building teams around players and build them around systems, and everything else will follow suit. That's exactly what I got from this game because we were ruthless. But I don't know how that's a penalty, if I'm being totally honest with you. It's nice to be on the receiving end of a bit of luck inside the box, and this fan says go left, Kokcu, go left. My left or yours, doesn't matter. Either way, the keeper, he ain't going to get there. 3-0 against Valencia and we are cooking on gas. Beans on toast all round with Real Madrid coming to the bando. Emil Smith Rowe doing his best optics impression with a 360 no-look over the top ball and a ridiculously disgusting diving header from our most expensive signing ever. But there's only so much you can do against the Galacticos. I mean, they just make their own luck, don't they? What are you meant to do against the team that have won it the most times? What was it, 13, 14? They just cut through teams on European nights like butter. Great tackle from Mark Gahey, but they definitely had a couple of chances to take the lead in this game. You're going to give Don Carlo a heart attack. He's getting Everton flashbacks, the poor bloke. Now, there's no denying it, the game was getting scrappy. But if we can dig deep and find a way to win against Real Madrid, we might be in with a chance of lifting silverware this season. It felt like the ultimate litmus test, and with Emil Smith Rowe gunning it down the wing, there's only one thought in this mind: get this ball in the back of their net. I don't care if it's a sweaty Pez, champions always find a way to win, and we've just done that. Let's go check where we are at the halfway point. Yeah, lads, you know what? I'm not even going to lie to you. We have absolutely smashed it. 8 games, 8 wins, 20 goals scored and 6 conceded. We are unstoppable. We're also joint top on points with Man City in the league, and I think it would be rude not to go for a title charge. And the cherry on top, we're in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup after drawing to Luton. I don't know how we managed to do that, but fair enough. There's only one man to blame for all this success. It's Matthias Tell, 26 goals so far this season, but he is out for 4 weeks. So Muniz, you're going to have to step in. We had some cash left in the kitty, so we spent it. Callum Hudson-Odoi from Forest for 20 million. He's basically our Sterling replacement off the bench. But yeah, other than that, we're keeping things as they are. Muniz in for Tell for now. And let's crack on with, well, dare I say it, a potential treble winning season. Luton, you're up first. I know it's not the Champions League, but it is the Carabao Cup. We are in the semi-final. Wembley is 1 game away. It'd be so rude not to. Football is a humbling sport. I mean, we went down to Luton first after just beating Real Madrid 2-1. I mean, come on, make it make sense. Mark Gay, you're lucky not to be sent off right there. Leno didn't even get a chance to set up for the penalty, which means we have to come back on smoke. Muniz, well, he stepped in for the injured Matthias Tell, but he probably would have started this game anyway. And then Mark Gahey, with another silly challenge, sees himself with an early shower. It's the 10 men of Fulham. Cockchu driving through, gives it to Muniz, and he gets a brace. But we're not finished there. Malcolm on the right wing cuts back inside, and Muniz runs past the sleeping defenders with an absolute worldie. I lost my head when that goal went in first time round. It's only right I lose my head again. Limbs everywhere at Craven Cottage. Let's take nothing away from this. It is world class. I don't care if it's against Luton. Speaking of, they do fight back. They draw level to make it 3-3, and then they beat us on penalties with a dirty little Panenka. Yep, that treble run was short-lived. He wants to win the Carabao Cup anyway. Besides, we've got a round of 16 tie against Sporting Lisbon. I'm pretty sure Luton are a better team than Sporting, so we should be fine, lads. An away day to Portugal. I'll tell you what, we'll stay a couple of nights for sangria and a spot of golf if you lot win. Well, maybe not if you don't hit the back of the net, Emil. 4 right. Wasn't all one-way traffic, though. Big Shirley getting sent back to Nigeria. So it's a good thing Marta Gay remembered how to tackle. The Yank fires one into Muniz, a cracking heel-to-heel, and he's found the back of the net. And it's the two linking up again in the second half with a ball over the top and a cultured volley into the bottom corner. But don't get it twisted, we still have a scrap. Cockchu finds Muniz, and he does so well to hold off his man. The strength, the power, the finish. The Brazilian, he's found his shooting boots and giving Marco something to think about. We sim the second leg, we were A-OK, and let's see if Muniz can get back-to-back hat-tricks against West Ham. We are going for the title after all. Cockchu from the dead ball, and then Mike is playing crossbar challenge. I would genuinely lose my head if he scored a proper free kick. Malcolm wiggling his way through. The first shot gets blocked onto the bar, and he leaps like a salmon for the rebound. He's got a proper jump on him, that boy. Muniz in front of goal, and well, we know what the story is by now. And for those of you wondering why is Leno still in the net, well, this is why he is just so quick off his line. He doesn't give the attacker a chance to think about it. A wonderful bit of skill from Emil Smith-Rowe inside, and well, it's Muniz with a brace. Pick some things up from Portugal, I see, lads. 8 goals in 3 games is absolutely remarkable. Against Palace, you're damn right he keeps the starting spot. I don't even know if Matthias Tell can get in the team anymore. Tillman, oh, he's going for the incredible. He's got a bit of something special in him, we just haven't seen it properly yet. The Brazilian stepping up again with a goal, and you are damn right, Marco has got something to think about. Might have to give Matthias Tell his P45. But hold the phone. What have I just witnessed? That is absurd. Clint Dempsey could never. I told you the Yankee has something special brewing. That poor defender's got to go home to his wife and kids after this. They're not going to be able to look him in the eye. And then Smith-Rowe, well, he finishes the game off 3-0 over Palace. And we're maintaining our title charge. But now it's back in the Champions League against our old rivals, Atletico Madrid. They've come to visit the Bando. A tasty quarter-final matchup. Again, like last year against Chelsea, I did accidentally sim the first leg and we lost 3-2. But there's a couple of things we didn't have last season. A bit of luck and Rodrigo Muniz in the form of his life. Tell has returned from injury, but he can't lace the Brazilian's boots at the minute, especially when he's whipping out scorpion kicks left and right. But at centre stage is our unsung hero in this team, Leno, with yet another great save, and we beat our European rivals 4-3 on aggregate and have a semi-final to look forward to. But now it's a huge game. First beats second in the league. Arsenal versus Fulham, and it's more than a London derby. Just 3 points in it. It's a real 6-pointer though, and after winning the title last year, they're sure as hell not going to roll over easy and let us waltz through because we're in the mix. We're going to have to prize it from their cold, dead hands. We made a couple of subs in the second half because we had no attacking impetus, borderline impotent, and our players are getting slapped about left, right and centre. Marco's going to lose his head. He's going to spin your jaw if you don't wind your neck in. But it doesn't mean we have a wonderful chance from the set piece. And oh my word! Orkan Kokcu, you little dancer. Matthias Tell, I told you we haven't forgot about you. But that just hit the top left banjo off the post. It was gorgeous. It made me feel all giddy after that went in. And with one sub drawing us level, can another win us the match? No, we can't. There's just not enough whippage to get around the keeper. And in the 94th minute, Gabriel Jesus, he sticks it in the back of the net. And the Gunners, they win 2-1 and go 6 points clear at the top of the table. But hang on, what's going on here? A little trip to Wembley? It can't be. Oh yeah, another semi-final. This time in the FA Cup. Our chance for the treble is still alive and kicking, and so as Matthias Tell gets his chance back in the starting lineup and takes it beautifully, making sure to get his camera time so you don't forget who he is. And our job of winning the semi-final, well, it's made much easier now Agate has been sent off. With Man United down to 10 minutes, one of their own to double our lead. It's a bit naughty from Pereira, so he does show respect to his old flame. But I don't think he has to, because we weren't showing him enough respect with one man down. As they pull it back from 2 goals down to being back level inside the 75th minute. And there's still time on the clock, so anything can happen. With Matthias Tell on the pitch, well, the chance is forever in our favour, as the 10 men of Man United, they didn't stand a chance, especially with this Muniz touch in the 90th minute. It is outrageous. No matter who's starting striker, they're going to find the back of the net, and now we've got an FA Cup final to look forward to. But lest we forget, we're still in the semis in the Champions League against AC Milan. It's not the first time we've had Italian visitors here at Craven Cottage, but to be honest, that doesn't mean much, if anything. Not after Jota pings it in from 25 yards with his weak peg. It was like Leno wasn't even in the net. And well, I hate to break it to you, but things go from bad to worse as the masked menace Osimhen, he doubles the visitors' lead. So it's time to call in the Brazilians. And they both link up beautifully. Muniz to Pereira, and he smashes it home off the keeper. 2-1, well, it would have been if the liner had kept his flag down. But we keep on keeping on. Tillman into Muniz. He tries to place it with no luck, but don't worry, the Yankees there for the rebound. And 10 minutes later is Kokcu with the press. He does well to win it back. Muniz with Joga Benito step over and a bit of strength to hold off the man. He levels the score. The Brazilian, he is born again, and like Christ the Redeemer, he watches over his people at Craven Cottage. We follow BTEC Milan to the BTEC San Siro on a level playing field. One half decent game, one scrappy 1-0 win, and it's on to the final and the trophy. Oh, it's in touching distance. But if it wasn't for goal line blocks from Bassi and Leno acrobatics, we could have been 3-0 down inside 30 minutes. Instead, it's only 3-2 on aggregate, and we have got a fighting chance to claw something back from this game. It's Muniz into Pereira, and he makes no mistake with the finish. Where's your flag now, Lino? And from the restart is Tillman with the high press. He plays it through to Rodrigo Muniz, and that is a delicate finish into the bottom right. And just the cherry on top of the icing on the cake is a Route 1 header. This Brazilian, he has put us through to our first Champions League final. But we're not going for just the Champions League anymore. No. Our objective has changed. We're going for the treble. 5 massive games left of the season. City in the league. The Gunners in the FA Cup final. Spurs and Chelsea in the league. And then the Holy Grail, Arsenal again in the Champions League final. With 2 points behind them in the league, it's the ultimate battle for the treble between the London clubs. But first things first, third place Man City, and I literally don't know who to pick between Tell and Muniz. It's an impossible position to be in. Is there even a right answer? If there is, then maybe it'll be obvious at the end of this game. What is this, like the 3rd or 4th time we play these lot? 1 win and 2 draws. Oh, go on, let's make it 2-2's the remix. I don't want anything less than a win. 3 points on the board, and Matthias Tell, well, that's 1 point in your column. Look, don't tell him, but they're competing for the spot in the Champions League final. And one person that isn't competing is Malik Tillman. I'm out of superlatives for goals this rebuild. But this is just unequivocally world class from the Yank. The boys are moving breezy. It's like watching FIFA Street from back in the day. Everybody's going for the goal breaker. But sometimes you just need to get the ball in the back of the net. And that's exactly what Tell does. 3-0 the final score. And he's saying, Marco, remember the name for the Champions League final. 1 game down and 4 to go. Thankfully, that put us in pole position in the league on goal difference. And now we have our first final against the Gunners. The first in this treble tie. Yep, their squad is still stacked. That's great. and we're rocking exactly the same starting lineup as we did against City. You're probably wondering why Tell over Muniz. Because he's the FA Cup's leading goal scorer. But wait, hang about. This is the Cup, right? Why the is the Premier? This is the FA. Oh yeah, alright, good. Well, Jesus Christ, what's going on? It does seem quite ominous, doesn't it? Maybe a bit of subtle foreshadowing? Who knows? All I know is we've got to win. And we're shooting like that, bruv. You're going to be nowhere near the starting lineup. But at least he wasn't the only one skying it high and wide in front of goal. 60 million down the drain. Kai Havertz misses again. I mean, he's just tried to whip that into the top left banjo, ain't he, bless him? I think he heard what I said and took it to heart. Pelting shots at Leno, but he deals with them. And from the corner, well, it's a weak ball into the box. But now, well, we've got a chance to counter. Smith Rowe, he found Pereira, but can Pereira find his countryman? Of course he can. He's wide open, and with time against him, he finds the back of the net. Malcolm, run to me, my boy. Saved from the retirement league, he's now put us 1-0 up in the FA Cup final. And Leno, well, he makes sure it stays that way. A massive display from the boys in white, and we have won the first of 3 in the ultimate battle against the Gunners for the treble. What is going on with that trophy, bro? Honestly! Alright, at least now we know we can beat them. And we got a trophy out of it. At least they got the right one for the socials. 2 games left of the season, and we have a game in hand against the Gunners. I'm not going to get into the technicals, we just absolutely have to win. This is how Spurs are lining up. No wonder they're in 7th spot. And it's exactly the same starting lineup for the Cottagers. Come on then! Our beloved Muddy Water Banzo, our house of death. The water will be running red by the time we're through with Spurs. Because we're slicing through them on our first attack and Tell just put that man in the blender. Unfortunately, well, he just hasn't found his shooting boots, has he? And Big Ange, well, he's bricking it. He hasn't been the same since he returned from injury, but somebody who's been quietly consistent is our resident Turk. Cockchew putting us 1-0 up, and now the Cottage, well, it's shaking with belief. Belief that maybe, just maybe, the treble might be ours. But we have to make sure we pick up 3 points against Spurs. Smith Rowe nods it down to Robinson, and Anthony says, get on the end of that, rude boy. One goal was making me twitchy, so Emil says, here's some breathing room. A goal that definitely means a lot to him. Don't knock him into the boards, lads. Oh, hang on, Mark, I don't care. The boys, they're playing with pizzazz, a bit of panache, a bit of spice. If there's a bit more on that back heel, it would have been glorious. But we are cutting through Tottenham like a hot knife through butter. Until grabs his brace as we win 3-0. The fans are checking the scores around the ground. Now don't spoil it for us. We need to go check out what's the curling. Lads, I don't even know how this happened. The season has gone all skewed. I thought we were playing our game in hand against Spurs, but apparently not. That was just a regular game week. Arsenal beat Man United, which means if we win our game in hand against Chelsea, we win the league on goal difference. Tell is a couple goals away from the golden boot, which is another thing to go for, and Leno, well, he's already nabbed the golden glove. Anyway, this is how Chelsea are lining up. Cole Palmer versus Smith Rowe in the cards. That'll be good. Now come on, lads. Here we go. Our strongest lineup for the league title. It's a shame it's not at Craven Cottage. Stamford Bridge, well, it might be empty for now, but the people will flock. And the home fans may be shouting and raving, but they will be stuck in their own fiery purgatory as their players come out for slaughter against the mighty Fulham. No hard feelings, lads. It's nothing personal, only business. In the battle of Smith Rowe versus Cole Palmer, well, it's cold to get the first pop shot off. Leno, why are you playing with fire? I just made a massive speech about purgatory and a fiery inferno. Are you trying to push my buttons? Cockchew through to Tell, and the Frenchman, well, he tries the dink but fails, and our star boy, well, he's there, right place, right time, and he puts us 1-0 up. Giving the old man a hug. I told you at the beginning we're building the team around you. But I've got no excuse for your shank on goal there, lad. In all honesty, it doesn't matter. But all we needed was 3 points on the board to lift the Premier League. I was half expecting the FA Cup to be there. But alas, on our road to the treble, Fulham, well, we are officially Premier League champions. And the fun doesn't stop there. One of our lads has nabbed the player of the season. And of course, it's Matthias Tell. The lad is a baller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our players made the team of the season. And it's official. 79 points is the magic number. We've won the league, we've won the FA Cup, don't worry about the Carabao, and now the Champions League is next on our hit list. This is how the Gunners are lining up. And a side note, Rodrigo Muniz, he's 1 goal away from the golden boot. And it's for that reason, our Brazilian number 9, he's in the starting lineup. The irony of this rebuild is way too much. The Champions League final is at the Atletico Madrid Stadium and is the climax for a London derby treble against the Gunners, where 2 of our best players used to play. God, I love career mode. And I'd have another reason to love it if Muniz found the back of the net with that bicey. But we were relentless, and if Smith Rowe could have finished that off, it would have been a fairy tale ending. The fans, they are gassed at half time, and Saka's looking a little bit worried, but we continue to pile on the pressure. Muniz, you have to score that. You've been amazing all season long. You've scored harder chances than all of these combined, but it only matters on the biggest stage and the most important games. Smith Rowe blunders the chance, but it's the most unlikely of heroes who puts us 1-0 up. Malcolm, you little Brazilian dancer. 1-0 up in the Champions League final when Smith Rowe is still itching to get his goal against his former club. And Muniz desperately wants that golden boot, but that Arsenal goalkeeper stands in our way. I don't know who he is, but I'm going to buy him for Fleetwood. In the 90th minute, Arsenal get their second chance on goal, and if that overhead kick went in, I would have absolutely lost it. But alas, the Fulham limbs are flying as the boys walk up to the podium to get... Oh my God, how was it not... You pay £90 for this game, they can't even get the bloody trophy right. But who cares? We have done what we set out to achieve. Fulham are Champions League winners. It's been an incredible journey. We got a little sidetracked this season, but the treble makes it special. Our player of the season has 37 goals to his name. Like, what the deuce. Cockchew with 26 and 11 as a box-to-box midfielder. Ridiculous. And Muniz, our Brazilian number 9, finishes with 20 goals as a bit-part striker. Emil Smith Rowe, he's a baller. I might buy you for Fleetwood Town, I'm not too sure yet. But in all 4 seasons, he scored 66 goals and got 51 assists. He is undoubtedly our best player through this rebuild. The entire team has been brilliant, I can't lie, but if you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, it will mean a lot to me as we are so close to 2,000 subs. It is tantalising. I'm going to get Fleetwood Town episode 6 out as soon as possible. I promise you it will be really, really soon. Either this Friday or next Monday. So thank you for your patience, and until next time, take care guys. And ta-ra!